Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to the start of Booty Week. It is finally here, so starting tomorrow I have a glute workout going up every single day. I'm going to start basic with just body weight and we're going to work all our way up to the advanced one on Friday. That is kind of a mimic of how I like to train my glutes. That is all to come starting tomorrow, which is really exciting. Yes, if you're wondering, my glutes are extremely sore from filming, refilming, testing, all of that for the last 2 weeks. My butt is just like, please stop training me, give me rest. So I went ahead and filmed all those for you guys and I'm really excited with how the workouts turned out. But before we start with all that, I wanted to make sure that I was able to sit down with you guys and kind of go over everything you guys need to know in order to start growing your glutes today. I'm just going to give it to you how it is and what you need to be doing, because at the end of the day, you guys, growing your glutes is not rocket science. It comes down to a lot of hard work and a lot of patience. But with all that being said, of course, there are certain things which I'm going to go over in this video that are going to help positively contribute to your glute goals. I feel like this video does a good job at answering all of the questions, all the DMs I get from you guys about the glutes, laying it flat out for you, everything you guys need to know. With all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for all your love and support. Subscribe if you haven't already, and now let's get into the tips. So first thing is going to be all about diet, since diet is going to be a mere reflection of the results you see. So there's only two main things I want to point out when it comes to growing your glutes and your diet. Of course, there are many other things you can go way in depth, but I'm just trying to keep this as basic and to the point as possible for time purposes. First thing is going to be that you guys need to make sure that you are consuming enough calories daily in order to reach your goals. So when it comes to putting on muscle mass, being in a caloric surplus is definitely going to be the easiest route, the quickest route, I would say. Now, not everybody, including myself, needs or finds necessary to be in a huge caloric surplus. Sometimes I feel like people can take caloric surpluses out of hand and you end up doing more harm than good, because yes, you have tons of energy, your strength goes up like crazy, but you also end up putting on a lot of stored fat that then you're later on going to have to burn off if you want to, if that is your goal, which is for most people who have on a lot of excess stored fat. So what I prefer to do and what works best for my body is to be in a slight caloric surplus, which is around 200 calories above my maintenance, because my body just loves to store fat and put on fat, and I've never had an issue with putting on size. So that is what works best for me. The best thing to do is to start small, test it out for a few weeks, and then slowly increase it, so that way you're positively working towards that magic number for you without going overboard in the beginning when it may not be necessary for you in the first place. And the second thing is going to be your protein intake. I'm pointing out protein specifically over all the other micronutrients solely because not only is it important obviously for muscle growth, but it is the one that people tend to slack on the most. So making sure that you're prioritizing your protein intake. Now, the generalized number that you want to be around is around 1 gram of protein per pound of lean body mass. So I find anywhere between 0.8 and 1 to be a good number to be around. So just make sure you're somewhere in that ballpark of consuming that daily. Now let's get into the largest portion of this video, which is going to be all about your training. So the main thing is that have your goal. So your goal is to grow your glutes. So you need to plan for those goals. So don't be going in and doing 4 or 5 upper body days and 1 lower body day when your goal is to grow your glutes. You should be prioritizing your glutes, and then everything else should revolve around that. Now let's move on to weight. You guys need to be making sure that you are lifting challenging weight loads for the reps and sets given, aka lift heavy. Don't be afraid to lift heavy. It's only going to benefit you and your glute journey in the long run. Don't be afraid of the weights. Now, kind of mashing in with that first thing I was talking about with planning your training around your goals, is that you should be training your glutes more than once a week. I train my glutes twice a week, which I would say is the bare minimum, and that's because I train my glutes very extensively. I'm in the gym for a good amount of time, and that's just what works best for me and my body. And also, my body recovers very well, and I've just found what works for me. However, one, not everybody has the luxury of spending spending 1 to 2 hours in the gym, or 2, not everybody's body responds well to heavy extensive training. So you could be training your glutes anywhere from 2 days a week if you prefer training like I do, all the way up to 4 or 5 days a week. It just depends on how you train. Just making sure that you're prioritizing them in your weekly training and that you're at least hitting them twice a week. So with making sure you're lifting appropriate weights amount, making sure that you're training them more than once a week, you just want to make sure that your effort is matching the results you want to see. You want to make sure that you are going in and giving it 110%. And one of the best ways to track how much effort you're giving and the progress you're making is by setting new goals, progressive overloading goals that you can work towards on a weekly basis to make sure that you are actually progressing in your strength, in your form, in your performance. There's so many different ways that you can progressive overload in an exercise or in a workout, and it's all about just setting those, working towards them, trying to hit new PRs, build up your strength, and just making sure that you are working towards something proactively. Now let's move into the exercises. The first thing I want to point out is that when it comes to glute training especially, different forms, different variations, different exercises work best for different people, and that's all due to our human hip anatomy. So you need to find what exercises work best for you, because what may work best for somebody may not be the best exercise for you, and vice versa. So when it comes to actual exercise selection, you guys are going to see me do so many different exercises the following week, but if you're ever writing your own plan, the main thing I want you guys to focus on is variety. Making sure that you're hitting your glutes in all different angles. Your glutes are going to benefit from being worked in the lengthened position and their shortened position, so making sure that you are doing your squatting patterns, your deadlifting patterns, your hip thrusting patterns, making sure that you're getting that heavy load in their shortened position, which you would in a hip thrust, and their lengthened position like you would in a hip hinge movement like a deadlift. Next is going to be your rep and set ranges. So I personally suggest working in various reps and set ranges. Some people prefer to just work in low, and some people just prefer to work in high. They both have great benefits, and they both build muscle. You can build muscle working in low reps and heavy weight, and you can build muscle working in higher reps and more moderate weight, as long as you're choosing appropriate weight loads for the reps and sets given. It should still be challenging whether you are lifting with 6 reps or you're lifting with 20 reps. Next is a little tip for anybody who has trouble feeling their glutes working when performing certain glute exercises, or you don't really feel that contact in your glutes. And that usually happens for a lot of beginners or people who aren't typically used to training their glutes on a weekly basis. And that's just because we sit on our butts all day long. We're used to having them so-called turned off. So basically the glute activation is to help kind of activate them and turn them back on, to get our bodies to be like, hey, you know, we want to use these muscles to work when lifting this weight. So by picking a few exercises and just doing a low amount of reps and just like 1 or 2 sets, just a little thing just to help get them turned on and ready to go before you begin a weightlifting, it usually helps with that issue. You just want to make sure to not take your glute activation overboard and do too many reps, too many sets, and like end up doing a full workout before you even begin weightlifting, because you're pre-exhausting them before you even begin. And lastly, when it comes to training, it's also important to know when to rest and giving your body the time it needs to heal and recover, so that way you can go back in and efficiently train again. You don't want to be training your glutes every single day and going hardcore and never giving them time to rest, because that's actually going to hinder your results instead of helping you grow them. Spacing out your glute workouts is another one. Like I said, I have 2 days where I like to focus on my glutes, and they are spread out. One is in the beginning of the week and one is more so towards the end of the week. So that way I know that even though I like to train my glutes very intensely, they still have at least 2 days in between before I'm training them again. And it's usually actually more than 2 days. So just make sure that you're spacing out your workouts properly so that they can rest and recover and you can start seeing results. Closed out training, and now I just want to move into a few other key tips and things. And basically this is just all about knowledge and just always being a student. No one knows everything. You can always learn something from somebody else. Yes, I've been training for years. Yes, I am a certified trainer. Yes, I've trained other people, but I still have things I want to work towards, goals I still want to improve on. But always researching, always staying up to date, and just finding and discovering new different forms and techniques and exercises that you can apply to your training is only going to benefit you in the long run. One person I really want to point out that I definitely accredit to a lot of my glute knowledge and a lot of other people's glute knowledge is someone named Brett Contreras. If you don't know who he is, I'll have him linked down below. Hopefully you know who he is, but he is actually the creator of the glute hip thrust, the actual exercise, as well as many other exercises and forms and variations. He is brilliant. He has spent his whole life's career around the glutes and studying them, and I just think that his work is amazing, and I'm always researching and studying on his different advice and forms and researches that he has published. And so I will have his YouTube and Instagram link down below. I don't know him, he doesn't know me, but he is definitely somebody who on the sidelines has kind of been something I've fallen to and kind of really taken advice from in order to help promote my glute growth in the last year or two. So ever since I discovered him, now I'm always suggesting to other people that if they really want to get a scientific standpoint on something or learn a little bit more in depth into why something is the way it is, he definitely has great advice on that. And then lastly, I guess just to close it up, is probably the other question I get asked all the time, and that is how long has it taken me to get to where my glutes are? I have been weightlifting now for around I'd probably say 6+ years now. I'd say the first couple of years was more so me becoming in tune with my body, really applying different forms and techniques and things, and I'd say the last 3 to 4 years I've really been more hardcore on my glute training, especially the last 2+ years. So it's definitely been a journey for me, but glute growth is something that does not happen overnight. It's like any other muscle group. It takes hard work and consistency and patience, lots and lots of patience. But the more progress you see, the closer you are to reaching your goals, and then you reach your goals and you get to set new goals, and it's really fun and exciting and rewarding to just know that you put in all this hard work to reach a goal. It's just the best feeling in the world. So that is everything. I hope I covered the main key things that you guys were wanting to know. Of course, if you have any questions, please comment those down below. Obviously, this is a video and sometimes you forget things or slip up on things, so I'll try to leave more information in the description bar below. But again, feel free to comment and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Don't forget to subscribe because we got a ton of workouts coming up the next week for the glutes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until the next one, bye guys.